We are live now, Krishna.
Okay, thank you. Oh, hello all. In last session, we discussed about the chatbot integration, which was part 1. So in that session, we discussed about the dialog flow, and then how we create intents in dialog flow, and then a quick discussion about API, how we create an API, and then how we generate a service account ID, and then how we connect from API to Dialogflow. I'll just give a quick recap of the previous session, and then we can start with the mapping and weather reporter. So firstly, we created an account in Google, and then we created intents here. So our example is a weather report. So we named the intent as check report. So by default, we'll have two intents. One will be welcome and then fallback. So inside check report, we have the parameter which we enter in the robot, so which we enter here. So that will be taken here, and then this will be passed to UiPath. So that is a quick recap about recap about a dialog flow. And then second, we taken a website called Open Weather Map. So here we can freely register for an API key, so which gives a report of weather. So for if we give, there are types of keys, URLs which you can generate from weather API. So for example, so here we have weather maps. Here we have maps. So using this API, you can get all this information. So we are using this API. So this I've showed you quickly how do we register for this, and then how do we get an API key for ourselves. So we've created this API key in the last session, and then in from the dialog flow, since in the previous version of so since the previous session of Dialogflow, we used to have the service account here itself. So we don't have that requirement to create a separate service account from console. So we quickly discussed about how do we create a service account from test agent, and how we get an API key in the form of a text file. This one, how we get this as a text file, and then how we create a private key, and then how we copy this from here to chatbot. So that these all things we discussed. So we discussed about the first three things, and then now today we are going to discuss how do we create a UiPath workflow to get the information from this API, which is weather API. From here, how do we get information using the API key which is being given by Open Weather API, and then how we convert that result into a human readable format, and then how that is being given as an output from the chatbot. So that we are going to see. So firstly, to start with UiPath workflow, so here we need API integration. So we use a package called Web API. So just search for UiPath.web API. You'll get this package. I've already installed it. So you have to install, and so first we have to get the API key which is being created in Open Weather. So just go to, you'll have a API key here. So don't copy this. This is mine. So you have to copy this key, and then since you have to encrypt that password, if you have to use the activity called get password. This is a core activity, UiPath core activity. So using this, you can paste the text as a general text, and then that will be converted into stars, and then you can't see the password, and then you'll have that password in a variable. So that is the use of this get password. So I've used this to convert that API key into stars. So here we will have API key, and the next thing is to fetch the results from API from Open Weather. So here we have few formats. So here we have Weather API. So these are the formats. So for example, if we take this URL and if we paste it here, the things we have to change, first thing is to change the city name. So for example, we keep it as Pune, and then the API key which is been given for you, which in the registration form you will get your own API key, which I already discussed. So you copy this and then you place it in place of API key and enter. So this is the result which will be given from that API using our API key and then city name. So here the city name will be one variable and then the API key will be one more variable. So we already created API key variable. So this city name will be provided, will be given by user from the chatbot. So as I already discussed about the create check report intent. So here user will enter the city name. So that name will be taken as a GeoCity entity. So this entity will be passed to UiPath robot. So to quickly explain how we connect the HTTP request, I'll just delete this. Take a new HTTP request. So here we have to give the endpoint. Endpoint is nothing but your URL, API key URL. Just copy this and just paste it. And you can see a preview of the result which has been given by this API key. So click on preview, and then here we have the output. So since it is almost in JSON format, so we can deserialize this output into JSON format, and then we can by using the object IDs you can just call. If you need ID, then you just call with weather and then ID, you will get this answer. So from this by giving the URL, if you click on OK, this will be converted. I've already did that. Let's show you here. So this is the URL which I pasted. So this p name will be the parameter name, the city name which is given by user, and then this API key which we already created in the flowchart itself. And this result is been stored in an output variable called JSON resp. And this response is nothing but this the same thing, this JSON string. So from here we can take whatever fields which we need. So I'm taking mainly these four: temperature, fields like, and then pressure, and then humidity. So simply we the output variable which we provided to deserialize the JSON, we use that, and then inside main. So the temperature lies inside the main object. So inside main we need temp, we need fields like, we need I've taken pressure, humidity. If you want, you can take remaining as well. That is as per our requirement. So I've taken these four. So this environmental new line is nothing but it will separate each one with a new line. So that is for environment.new line, and then it prints this, and then the value. Like that, I've taken four of the important temperature attributes. So that's all for UiPath. Just save this, and then we just have to publish it. After publishing, uh, we have to convert the robot to Orchestrator. So these, if you have any queries in connecting the robot to Orchestrator, in our sessions we already have that. You can just go through that. Here I have already published the robot to Orchestrator. So you can see already the chatbot NV1. So that is already connected. So that is for UiPath. So from UiPath side, we connected the robot to Orchestrator. And one important thing is to create the pname as an in argument. So this pname will be taken from chatbot. So here the bot automatically picks up the city name, and then that will be inputted as a input parameter for this flowchart, and here it will interact with the API, and then the result will be given as output. So this output will be displayed over here. Simple. So we have connected robot to Orchestrator, and now we go to chatbot.com, chatbot.uipath.com. So that is this. Here inside, if you go to initial, this is how it looks. So you'll have an option called plus. I mean, there you have to click on plus, and then you'll get a chance to create your own connection. So I've already created that. So this is that. You can also create from here. If you need one more, you can just click on create new here as well. So I've created already. And then we have Dialogflow agent. So this is our interface, we can say, like we are using Dialogflow agent. So we have this, and then the orchestrator service to connect our robot. So these two will already be there. And then we have to these are the intents which we already have with our ID in the Dialogflow. So if you can see my Dialogflow test agent intents. So here I have 3 intents. So that's what the chatbots shows us. So here we have 3, and then we have to map from here. So for example, if you have to map these default fallback intent to any other process in our orchestrator, you just click on process, and then this will show all available bots in our orchestrator. You just select that and then click on map. So since our main or weather reporter mainly needs the check report, so I've directly mapped our chatbot process from orchestrator to this intent. So that is of mapping. And then so since we are trying to use our robot into a website, we enable this web. So this will be disabled previously, so we have to just enable it, and then we can quickly test that. So this is how it looks. So assume this is your website, and then here your robot goes. It says hello. Just click on hi. Nice. I've trained with only few names, so I'm just giving a simple input. Report on Pune. Now if you can see here, the robot will execute in my VM. So it's just now it executed, and the result will be provided. So this is how it looks. And if you give some other, I can click on hi. Report on Nellore. So this is the weather report for Nellore. So this value is in Kevin's, so that's why it is that huge. And based on your training, your robot replies to us. So for example, if I give something else, like, says I didn't get that, and can you repeat? So this reply is coming from the other default intent. So we have 3 intents. So this welcome intent will always wish you back. Like for example, if you give hi, it replies how are you, like that. And this default fallback intent will be like a default switch case in a switch. So any other queries which you give apart from the intents which you have already trained in Dialogflow, by default it replies the default fallback intent. So whatever the content we have inside the default fallback intent, it just replies that. So this is what we got now. I didn't get that. Sorry, this one. So that's how the interaction happens. I mean, the robot mappings happens. So to quickly define the chatbot, it is nothing but a connector which is cloud hosted service that enables we don't need any code or configuration here. So it only thing is to map intents from Google Dialogflow and that NLP agent to processes in orchestrator to fulfill the automate. Like here we gave the city ID. So interacting with API and getting the result, that part has to be automated with UiPath. So that has to be done, and then you have to just make your chatbots within and outside your organization using for now we have only 2 options: web pages and then a Slack. So I've used web pages. You can use Slack as well. And then to quickly discuss about the benefits, it reduces the average handle time. Like the support staff load by automating common requests. Like we can in spite of the support staff, you can replace the chatbot, which reduces the human effort as well as the time. And then it reduces the wait times of users. So generally we have to raise a ticket and then the support team has to respond. So by using UiPath Chatbot, you can directly the bot itself can directly solve your question. And then this is like 24/7 support. That is one of the other advantage. And to quickly discuss about the use case, you can already think of using voice bots for customer service. Here I've explained only the text part, which is being given, and then the robot is replying in text format. But this is just an example. You can go with the voice chat as well. So instead of having the human as a support assistant, we can replace that with a UiPath chatbot. So the robot will reply for your customers with their problems. So that is a quick benefits section. So yeah, that's all from my side.
Thank you, Krisha.
Thank you.